Who do the Democrats have? They got nobody. They got nothing. Cory Booker, maybe? Joe Biden? No way. None of those people are going to stand a chance against Trump. Some people have floated Michael Avenatti, 2020. He's gonna be able to go up against Trump? Well, maybe. I mean, he's not really a politician, and that's why people are saying he could actually counter Trump. He's a different kind of guy. But I'll tell you what, if there's one person that I think would actually fare better than most, it's Beto O'Rourke, simply because he is an Obama-level celebrity, or he's getting there. Do I think Beto can beat Trump? No, I don't think so. I don't think the Dems have anybody who can match Trump's power and charisma. And look, that's not meant to be a compliment to Trump. I'm literally saying he is an imposing figure. He can berate and bully and push you down. And he forces the Dems to keep playing his game. Look at Elizabeth Warren. How many times can I talk about that? Pocahontas. You know, I was talking to some friends of mine, and I said, the Pocahontas situation with Warren reminds me of, like, imagine this. Imagine there are three, like, jockey dudes walking down the hallway, minding their own business. And the little nerdy kid walks by. And then one of the alpha guy goes, hey, look at little wiener boy over here. Hey, you're a wiener. And they'll start laughing, going, haha, you're a wiener boy. And the kid goes like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. And then he runs off. And then a week later, he shows up with like a hamburger going, see, look, I don't eat wieners. I eat hamburgers. I'll prove it. And he bites it. And everyone's like, dude, we were just making fun of you. Like, nobody cares at this point. The thing about Warren doing that is she only played into his game. Well, here's the story from Daily Caller. Beto 2020. Here's exactly what I thought was going to happen. As O'Rourke's Senate chances fade and war chest grows, speculation swirls he could be eyeing a bigger prize. In my opinion, that's exactly what's happening. Beto is a celebrity. Can he beat Ted Cruz? Well, according to the polls, no, but I don't really trust the polls at this point. Maybe. Maybe he can actually win. Maybe he doesn't want to win. They say, Democratic Representative Beto O'Rourke continues to lag Republican Senator Ted Cruz by increasingly wider margins in the Texas U.S. Senate race. But his ever-increasing war chest could be signaling an intention to launch a 2020 presidential run. O'Rourke gained national attention after a constituent asked the Senate hopeful in August if he felt that NFL players kneeling for the national anthem was disrespectful to the country, to America's veterans. In a now viral interaction, O'Rourke disagreed and commended the demonstration. The response lavished praise from the Hollywood elite, springboarding the congressman onto the daytime and late-night television circuit. As the Senate race tightened to a margin of single digits in the primarily red state, speculation of O'Rourke entering the national political arena began to percolate. Later, O'Rourke was even included in CNN's 2020 presidential poll, where he ranked as a top 10 contender, tied with former New York Mayor Michael Bloomberg. O'Rourke received 4% of the vote. Here's the interesting thing. I can jump through all this stuff. But they say he has raised more... Okay, O'Rourke has received more campaign contributions in one quarter than any political candidate in American history. In the third quarter of 2018, the El Paso congressman raised a staggering $38.1 million, bringing his total amount raised to $62 million. Cruz raised a total of $24 million, placing him as the third highest fundraiser of the candidates for Senate. Here's the thing. People have speculated that Beto is getting money from outside of Texas. And I want to point this out we're going to deviate a little bit here, because there's an idea that I think we need to bring up. As the internet, creates this world where we're all next to each other, we can hear each other all the time. What people need to realize is that local elections are going to be compromised by external money. Should people outside of Texas be allowed to determine who should be a senator for Texas? No, in my opinion, no. But you can't do anything about it. It's illegal. Someone who lives in New York, who heard about Beto O'Rourke from Hollywood elites, can send their money to him in Texas so that he can place ads to defeat Ted Cruz in Texas. To me, it's like almost the same thing as election meddling. Should a foreign country be allowed to interfere in the U.S. elections? No. Why should someone in New York be allowed to interfere in Texas elections? Well, you're legally allowed to. At least my understanding is there's nothing stopping you. I'm not an election lawyer. I could be wrong, so fact check me. But with him raising as much money as he did, in my opinion, I think it's fair to say that money didn't come from Texas. Again, I could be wrong, so you fact check me. Both candidates have been burning through their cash at relatively high rates, yet still have significant reserves. Doesn't matter, I don't care about that. O'Rourke revealed Monday that he wouldn't be sharing any of the cash he amassed with the other Democrats in tight races. I wonder why. Telling reporters that he must honor the commitment to the people who donated specifically to his race. The exchange sparked even more speculation of greater ambition, since it's commonly contended that there is no use for having leftover campaign money if one loses the election. Well, there you have it. Why wouldn't he share any of his money? He's got he's got $42 million. I doubt he can spend all of that in the next month. That would be ridiculous. But if he loses and he keeps the money and then he runs in 2020, he's becoming a celebrity. There's a video of him riding out on a skateboard, right? It looks so goofy. He's not good at skateboarding. Look, I've been skateboarding for 20 or so years. You can tell when someone jumps on a skateboard if they actually know how to skateboard. And I'm not trying to impugn the abilities of O'Rourke. I'm not trying to disrespect him, but I will say I'm impressed he was able to stand on the skateboard. A lot of people can't do that. But you can see how stiff and it's like, dude, fellow kids moment. Nah, dude, don't ride the skateboard, right? But it feels like he's trying to pull an Obama. He's trying to be the celebrity figure because, well, for one, Trump is, and that's what Beto has to match. There's precedent. Mark Warner gave the DSCC $500K in October when he was just a candidate, not an incumbent, because he didn't need the money. Matthew Miller, a justice and security analyst at MSNBC, tweeted on October 12th, "If Beto can spend all his money effectively in Texas, then he should. But no good comes from ending the race with money in the bank. Or does it?" Josh Kushar, the politics editor at National Journal, replied to Miller asserting that this is a test whether Beto wants to run for president in 2020 or be a team player for Senate Democrats. Ultimately, O'Rourke seems to be choosing not to be a so-called team player. However, O'Rourke's campaign maintains that it will not have trouble spending the excessive cash reserves. In addition to millions spent on TV ads and Google advertisements, O'Rourke also has to finance the Democratic infrastructure. Because Democrats have not been competitive in statewide races in Texas for decades, his campaign had to virtually build an entire field program from the ground up. The Wall Street Journal reported Wednesday, at a cost of approximately $3 million per month, O'Rourke was able to employ several hundred people to work out of 10 permanent and 70 temporary offices. As of the second and final debate Tuesday, Cruz had a healthy single-digit lead in the polls and consistently received over 50% of the vote. O'Rourke had been promulgating progressive policies largely unpopular in the state of Texas, and the debates served as a venue to showcase just how far left he stood, especially in contrast to Cruz, a conservative bellwether. Takeaway from Texas debate, Beto O'Rourke realized he's not going to win a U.S. Senate seat, so he's shifted straight to running for the 2020 Democratic presidential nomination. David Mardosco, the U.S. political editor at the Daily Mail, tweeted Tuesday. O'Rourke did not respond to the Daily Caller News Foundation for comment. Now, I'm not a huge fan of the Daily Caller, but they do get a good rating from NewsGuard. I will say this. I think their assessment is spot on. I think Beto O'Rourke, at this point, has probably resigned himself to not beating Ted Cruz in Texas as a Democrat. So what is he going to do? Especially, I think look, let's point this out. They mentioned that in the debate, it shows just how far left Beto actually stood, especially in contrast to Cruz. I live in New Jersey. We got two senators running right now, Bob Menendez and Bob Hugin. Hugin's platform is a liberal Republican. Like, seriously, his positions are fairly moderate left. And the reason for it is Bob Menendez is a Democrat, so, he's the incumbent. If Hugin wants to win, he's got to run as a Republican, but you can't be a right-wing Republican in a blue state. You've got to be a moderate Republican in a blue state leaning, in my opinion, he leans kind of left on a lot of issues. Like, I look at Bob Hugin and I'm like, actually, he's pro-choice, pro-LGBT rights. I don't know what his exact positions are. I don't trust politicians to begin with. But that's the point I want to make, is that Bob Hugin makes a platform that can appeal to Democrats. Beto O'Rourke, according to the Daily Caller at least, shows how far left he stands. That's not going to appeal to Texans. Why would he push far-left policies or unless he was going to run for president? Now let me say something else about Obama. Obama confused the hell out of me. Admittedly, this was a really long time ago. But I remember watching TV, and it was something like, Obama had just won his U.S. Senate seat, and someone asked him if he'd run for president, and they were like, "Oh, I'm thinking about it." And I was like, I don't understand how this guy can come out of nowhere and then just run for president. Like, who is he? But Obama did a really good job of being a charismatic celebrity. It worked. Trump, on the other hand, had always been a charismatic celebrity. So, look, I think the only reason Trump ran as a Republican is because Democrats won't elect a billionaire. So Trump, who's like, they call him a fascist, but in reality, he's got some policies you could say are, far-right, traditional conservative, but I think a lot of the Trump's positions are fairly, like, 90s Democrat, some like Reagan Democrats people have mentioned. They're people who are, center-left liberal people, and that's where I view Trump, right? I look at him as like a relative moderate with some more extreme positions, for sure. But the only reason he ran as a Republican, Democrats won't elect a billionaire. Republicans will. So now we're looking at Beto. Do you trust Beto? Do you think he's lying? At this point, I'd have to say, if Beto really is preparing for a 2020 primary, then I find this all to be very disingenuous. But hey, what are politicians good for other than playing a game, lying about what they believe, and then just racking up tons of cash and taking jobs where they've lied to get there? I don't trust any politicians. None of them. I would say, I've said this in the past, I think I give Bernie probably the most amount of trust out of any politician, and Rand Paul comes in second. But Bernie's lost me a little bit because I feel like he pandered too much. Rand Paul, I got a lot of respect for him. Disagree with a lot of what he believes, but I do believe that if there's any two people in politics in the United States who are trustworthy, it's Bernie and Rand. Maybe I'm wrong. You let me know what you think. I really, really do not trust Beto. I'm not a big fan of Ted Cruz either, but I actually distrust Beto more than Ted Cruz. But hey, what do I know? You guys comment, let me know what you think. I got a couple more videos coming up in just a few minutes, so stick around.